Do you worry that your speech is filled with too much passion, that it could be over the top? I was conducting a presentation training session yesterday with a client, and one of the executives said, TJ, I'm worried that my speech has too much passion, that it'll be seen as over the top. I need to tone it down a little. So, okay, there's always a possibility of that. Let's just ask your other half a dozen colleagues in the room. Does anyone think this gentleman was too passionate, too over the top? Nobody did. And then I asked the following question. How many of you in your entire careers, and this was finance, insurance-related industry, I said, how many of you in your entire careers, when you think back to the thousands of presentations you've seen, internally, externally, trade conferences, conventions, how many of you remember seeing a speaker who was too emotional, too much passion, too over the top? Now, I want to know how many times you saw that versus the number of times you saw a speaker who was boring, who just gave a data dump, who just kind of went through the slides, who was flat and uninteresting. And here's what I found. Definitely some people do remember seeing one speaker in their entire careers who was too much, and everybody disliked that speaker. So it is a real risk. It can happen. But when I asked people to really put it in perspective in terms of the numbers, what I found, it was either 1 to 3,000, meaning 1 overly emotional, over the top, to 3,000 boring, flat data dumpers, or 0 to 2,000 or 3,000. So let's deal with risks as they actually occur in proportion when we're preparing for our presentations. Worrying about being overly emotional and over the top in your business presentation, it's kind of like worrying about Homer Simpson all of a sudden exercising too much and getting too thin of a waist. Yeah, it could happen, but not likely. I think that business presenters should focus on the real risk, the most likely risk. And the biggest risk you face, 99.999% of the time, is that your speech is going to be flat, boring, uninteresting, and unmemorable. So please, focus on the real risks.